Welcome back to United Insider TV for a breaking transfer exclusive. The name is familiar, but the intent is now clear, confirmed by the biggest voice in the game. Manchester United has identified its priority midfield target for the strategic rebuild under Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ruben Amorim. That man is Carlos Baleba. Fabrizio Romano has dropped the ultimate transfer bomb, confirming that the club and the player are very keen on a deal. This is not a shortlist rumor. This is the designation of a priority. United sees Baleba as the perfect midfield addition, and their verdict has not changed since the summer. But there is a monstrous obstacle standing in the way of this perfect fit, a terrifying club record price tag of £115 million. This is the fee that Brighton has stamped on the Cameroon international, using the painful example of the Moises Caicedo deal to Chelsea as their unshakable benchmark. This move is shaping up to be the most expensive and arguably the most strategically important transfer of the new era. It is a defining test of INEOS' willingness to spend colossal money on a marquee addition to solidify Ruben Amorim's midfield for the next decade. Today, we break down why Baleba is the priority, why this deal is almost impossible until the summer of 2026, and why, despite the cost, the club cannot afford to walk away. The necessity of signing at least two top-tier midfielders remains a top priority for Manchester United. The dependence on an aging Casemiro, the tactical gaps exposed in key matches, and the need for long-term athletic control are all screaming for a generational talent to anchor the center of the park. United inquired over a possible move for Baleba during the summer. They were serious, they were prepared to move, but they walked away only because Brighton made it unequivocally clear they had no plans to sell. Brighton's stance was non-negotiable. They saw the chaos of the Caicedo saga and established a new, painful precedent. They placed that astonishing £115 million price tag on the 21-year-old Baleba, effectively telling every interested party, "We will not be bullied, and you will pay a premium that reflects his potential and our strategic value." For a player only just starting to establish himself fully, this is a mind-boggling valuation, but it is one that Manchester United has mentally accepted as the cost of doing business. This is the club record transfer territory. This is the kind of money that transforms a club's financial outlook for years, for better or worse. It's a move that must succeed. It must be the right player. And according to the club's own scouting department, Carlos Baleba is worth the gamble. He is the perfect midfield addition, possessing the Premier League experience that Ruben Amorim desires and the technical profile the entire rebuild demands. The strongest leverage Manchester United has in this multi-million-pound standoff is not the money, but the desire of the player himself. Fabrizio Romano, the most trusted voice in transfer news, insists that Carlos Baleba is very keen on the prospect of playing at Old Trafford. Romano laid out the history, saying, "It was August, here on the channel, I told you Man United want Carlos Baleba. Baleba wants to go to Man United." The conversation with the player and his agents was very good, but Brighton at that time in August didn't want to sell the player. The crucial takeaway here is that the foundation of the deal, the agreement between the club and the player, is already established. Baleba is reportedly excited by the project under Amorim and Ratcliffe, even more so now that the team is doing very well in the Premier League. This personal preference is vital because in a transfer market governed by enormous fees, the player's desire can be the single most decisive factor in compelling a seller to negotiate, or at the very least, stick to a timeline. The conversation with the player and his agents was clearly more than just speculative interest. It was a deep dive into the player's role, his development, and his future at Old Trafford. That bond established months ago is the primary reason Baleba remains the priority today. He is a willing target, and that drastically simplifies the most complicated part of any transfer negotiation. But why Baleba? Why is a £115 million price tag justifiable for the new era? Because he is the perfect strategic fit for what Ruben Amorim is building. Amorim has repeatedly stressed that he wants a midfielder with Premier League experience, someone who understands the pace, the physicality, and the unique challenges of English football. Baleba has already proven he can transition seamlessly into the top flight. He is an athletic powerhouse, able to cover ground, win tackles, and drive the ball forward. All essential ingredients for the high-intensity, structured double pivot that Ruben Amorim relies on. He provides a dynamic blend of Moises Caicedo's defensive steel with an improved ability to progress the ball under pressure. This is exactly the profile that solves the long-standing problem of Casemiro's eventual replacement, a player who can protect the back four while simultaneously acting as the launchpad for quick transitions. The appreciation for Baleba in United is widespread, extending beyond the scouting team to the manager himself. He represents a future-proof investment, a player who can immediately strengthen the squad while still having immense potential for growth, thereby justifying that extraordinary fee. He is the kind of marquee addition that doesn't just fill a gap, but defines an entire area of the pitch for the next generation. The focus on Baleba, however, brings us to the harsh realities of the transfer calendar. Fabrizio Romano was very clear on the timeline. A January move is highly unlikely, bordering on impossible. He stated, "In January, it's likely to be a difficult deal, the Baleba one, because Brighton insist on not selling the player." Brighton simply does not sell key players midway through a season, especially when they are challenging for European places. They value their squad cohesion and objectives far more than a winter cash injection. Therefore, United's strategy must revolve entirely around the summer of 2026. Romano confirmed this explicitly. But for the summer, let's say for 2026, for sure, Man United see Carlos Baleba as a priority target. This disciplined approach, walking away in August and refusing to waste energy on a futile January bid, shows a new level of strategic maturity from the club's new decision-makers. They know the target, they know the price, and they know the timeline. This is not reckless chasing, this is calculated patience. United will be monitoring Baleba closely through the rest of the season, maintaining contact with his agent and preparing the financial framework for a potential club record bid in the summer transfer window. The only way a January deal happens is if Brighton's stance changes, which is highly improbable. United is wise to remain open to any market opportunities that might be presented, but the strategic focus is undeniably fixed on securing Baleba in the next major transfer cycle. This patience, however frustrating for the fans, ensures United lands their priority target without panicking into a compromise signing. The pursuit of Carlos Baleba is more than just a transfer. It is a statement of intent from the new United Manchester under INEOS. It tells the world two things. Firstly, they are not afraid to pursue a generational talent, even if it means negotiating with one of the toughest clubs in the market and potentially paying a British transfer record fee. The 115 million figure is a sign that the club is prepared to match the demands of the modern Premier League market to secure the perfect player, not just the cheaper alternative. Secondly, it confirms their commitment to strategic, long-time recruitment that directly addresses the needs of Ruben Amorim. Baleba is a defensive anchor with Premier League pedigree, offering stability and athleticism that Casemiro can no longer provide consistently. The fact that the player is very keen validates the club's vision and confirms that Old Trafford remains a hugely attractive destination for the world's best young talent, especially those who appreciate the tactical direction provided by Amorim. This deal now moves into a phase of calculated waiting. The club must ensure it is in the best possible financial position to execute this massive transfer in the summer of 2026. The groundwork is laid, the player wants the move, and the club has the target locked. Now they simply must deliver. This is the biggest midfield story of the transfer window, and it will define the next decade at Old Trafford. This is the United Insider TV verdict. Carlos Baleba is the future of United's midfield, but the price is astronomical. The question is no longer if United wants him, but when they can gather the colossal funds to complete the deal. Now the conversation shifts to you. You've heard the fee, you know the player's desire. In the comment section below, tell me, is Carlos Baleba truly worth the full £115 million price tag? Should United break the bank for this one player, or should they look for a cheaper alternative? Give me your strongest arguments. If you appreciate this kind of raw, unfiltered transfer insight, smash that like button and make sure you are subscribed to United Insider TV and have those notifications turned on. The biggest transfer story of the year is only just beginning. Thank you for tuning in.